This is the Impressions Xchange podcast.
Impressions Xchange podcast,
where all topics impacting the graphic imaging and printing industry are addressed via in-depth news coverage, analysis, and timely interviews.
Welcome to the Impressions Xchange podcast. In this episode, I took some time to speak with my colleagues from NAPCO Research and Printing United Alliance about their upcoming keynote session. With me today, I have Nathan Safran, Vice President Research at NAPCO Research, Lisa Cross, Principal Analyst at NAPCO Research, and Andy Paparozzi, Chief Economist for Printing United Alliance. We discussed their keynote session, Harnessing Business Investment to Drive Profitability and Competitive Advantage, taking place on opening day of Printing United Expo in Las Vegas, September 10th through the 12th. They give a brief overview of what attendees can expect from the session, some key takeaways, trends driving the key findings, and some challenges PSPs might face when harnessing business investments. Thank you all so much for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So Nathan, I'm going to start with you. We're here to talk about the keynote session that you all will be giving at the Printing United Expo. So can you just start us off with a brief overview of what the keynote session will address?
Yeah, sure. So actually, really our objective with this session is to provide a foundational overview of some of the things, some of the factors that are going on in the market that are driving change and driving trends. And these are factors that printers really need to know about as they consider investments, right? Of course, they're at the show to look at technology, to network and attend events, but primarily to examine the technology, see what the latest offerings are and understand, what investments should I be making? What technology should I be aware of? And obviously the reason, as we all know, that that's so important is because the right investments that the printer makes will, of course, impact on their profitability. And, they're major investments, for printing equipment. So what we did is we went through our extensive research catalog, of research that we've done on the Printing United Alliance side, led by Andy Paparozzi, and then on the NAPCO Research side, to identify the trends that we see that will impact the investment, the areas of opportunities for printers, the potential threats for printers, so that they're really educated and are able to make the best possible business decision for their organization, whether that's a tech investment, investing in people, or otherwise. And so we've really put a lot of thought into this program. It's not just about the data, it's about the interpretation of the data, from the team. And here's what we think it means, and here are some key takeaways, and here's how you should be thinking about that. So that's really what we're looking to do with the keynote session.
Great. And so you mentioned some key takeaways. So I think that's what I want to get into next. So Andy, Lisa, could you maybe just give us a few of the key takeaways for a teaser for those who are listening?
Investment is critical, and we don't have the margin for error we once did. We kind of have to get that investment decision right the first time because our business environment is very unforgiving. Sales are growing modestly. Costs are still rising faster than prices, putting pressure on margins. We're seeing a classic textbook profit squeeze. And of course, one of the most effective ways to strengthen margins in that kind of environment is through proper, well thought out, effective investment strategies. And that's what we'll be talking about at the keynote. There's an urgency, and I don't use that term lightly, but there's an urgency to invest broadly, including in AI applications, to build profitability and productivity, not just in operations, but company-wide, by automating, by increasing production speed, and by making every process from estimating all the way through to billing even a little more effective. And that's what we want to help the keynote audience achieve.
Wonderful. Lisa, do you have anything you wanted to add there?
change is imminent. Convergence, it's reshaping the industry. That's a key part of our presentation as providers continue to move into adjacent print markets. And there are many reasons for that, either to offer their customers more, or maybe they're moving into a new market in response to declines in print volume, or maybe just because they can, because digital technologies have lowered entry barriers and enabled more providers to move into a new market. So convergence is something we're going to talk about. AI, that's getting lots of buzz and attention in the industry. And what we're seeing in our research is it's just starting to happen. What the ultimate result will be is unclear, but we are certain that it is going to shake things up. So we'll be talking about that. And something that Andy had talked about, productivity and automation, that's a key theme of the keynote, because when you think about it, automation really is a cornerstone of profitability today. Our data indicates that, and our data also indicates that there's really room for organizations to increase automation. We're seeing this across market segments and across the various functional areas in organizations. And another thing that is still happening is that analog to digital transformation, which we're seeing accelerating across all segments of the industry. So lots of really exciting stuff in this presentation. And the way that I'm very excited to share this with you. The way that we're going to do it on the NAPCO Research side is we've created a top list of trends. So, lots of great things in there. And I don't want to tell you all of them because we want you to come and see it. But hopefully we've given you enough to whet your appetite to come to our session.
So Lisa, I'm going to stick with you. You've talked about some key takeaways, as Andy has as well. Are there specific trends or a few trends that you can talk about that are driving some of these findings?
Sure. If you had asked me at a high level, what were some of the trends that are driving, what we're seeing in our research, I would tell you that I think they center on shifting customer markets. What do customers demand? What do they want? How are their businesses changing, and what are those implications? Competitive trends as well. What are my competitors doing? And what do I need to do if I want to remain a key player in the industry? And then a final one that I would say is sustainability. That there are a lot of regulations and customer demands on sustainability that are driving a lot of investment decisions.
Perfect. Andy, do you have anything you wanted to maybe add there? Any other trends that you've seen?
Lisa covered it very well. I would only add the need to build robust databases and superior data analytic abilities, because we need to be able to base decisions on the absolutely best, most complete, accurate business intelligence available. Because, as I mentioned earlier, our industry's unforgiving business climate is elevating both the return to making the right decisions and the costs of making the wrong ones. So we've got to get it right the first time. So when we talk to state of the industry participants about the kind of things that are really defining their businesses, the kinds of things that they really have top of mind, AI is number one. And how I'm going to use AI. And as Lisa said, no one knows how AI is going to play out, but you have to be thinking about it. You have to keep it top of mind. And our keynote and some of the other things we're going to be doing will help printers do exactly that. And as Lisa mentioned, they talk about the importance of sustainability and being able to profitably meet customer demand for sustainable products. And data creation. Very simply put, more and more of the participants in our state of the industry research say it very simply. It's all about data. It's all about accessing data. And it's all about effectively analyzing data.
Great, thank you. So, Lisa, want to go back to you and maybe talk about some challenges. So, what are some of the challenges that PSPs face when making investments to drive this growth?
Well, I think one of the big ones that I don't believe we touched on today is labor. That the industry is definitely labor challenged, and most investments are organizations are considering that. How do I need to train my people on that? Can I reduce head counts, or not reduce head counts, but if I have people retiring, do I need to hire a whole bunch of new people to do this? But I think labor is really a key motivator for a lot of investment decisions, because the industry has changed, because it's just hard to find workers no matter what industry you're in. So my colleague Andy, who's brilliant, has said many times, and that would be just about risk today, that you really, the stakes are higher than ever. Making that best investment, really have to be thoughtful about it. There was a time in the industry, in my lifetime, where you could make a mistake in buying a press, for example, with all the bells and whistles, just because you thought it was cool and you wanted to have it and you wanted to be organization and for my customers and for my profitability, because as Andy said, that margin for error is very, very tiny compared to what it's been historically. So if I had to pick two, I would say labor and just making that right investment.
Can I add something to what Lisa was saying? Because I think those are two very good points. And just to elaborate on the second point that she made is, one of the things we see from our research, both, quantitatively as well as qualitatively talking to folks, is the challenge in the ROI assessment, right? The challenge in understanding, right? I'm investing in this piece of equipment. What does it mean for me and my business? How am I getting an ROI out of that? And it can be a pretty complicated question to answer. And I'd like to suggest that, for those printers that are listening, that they should place a lot of that onus on their vendor, on their OEM, on their partner, and expect for them to help them to understand and figure that out. Why your specific piece of equipment, why this piece of technology within your equipment line, why is it the right fit for me from an ROI perspective? And something we talk about a lot is not just finding a vendor, but finding a partner. And if you found a partner, then they should be able to, really assist you with that.
Yeah, and I would add, again, both Lisa and Nathan said it very, very well. And I would only add that when we talk about, or we talk to state of the industry participants about what they have to do better, to Lisa's point and to Nathan's point, one of the things they say we must do better is manage risk more effectively. And because as Lisa said, we do not have the margin for error we used to. And they'll talk about things like calculating key risk indicators, calculating customer health scores, stress testing their businesses. And our research can help them with all of that. That's number one, that need to manage risk more effectively. And then the other factor that's playing into this, of course, is interest rates and the cost and availability of capital. Most folks have to take out a loan to make a major investment. And what troubles me, what I'm seeing in state of the industry, is too many folks are in danger of falling behind. They're waiting for interest rates to come down substantially. And that's not very likely. And again, to both Lisa and Nathan's point, the longer you wait to make a critical decision, to make a critical investment, the more likely you're going to fall behind and be very, very difficult for you to catch up. So yes, interest rates are high. Of course, they're a factor in your investment decision, but don't wait until they come down. Do the assessment, analyze ROI, assess your risk, and move forward.
Well, it sounds like from everything you've all said today that everyone who goes to the expo should consider coming to the keynote session. It sounds like it's going to be great. So Nathan, can you, before we finish up here, where can people find the keynote session? Where's it going to be? When's it going to be?
Yeah, sure. It's going to open up the show actually on Tuesday, September 10th, 10 a.m. to 11:15. The location is S222. That's S222. And Ashley, as you said, we'd really love to have you all join us there. We're going to be sharing a ton of useful data, information, trends, contextualizing the data, recommendations that will help all print segments, no matter what print segment that you're in. We'll have something for everyone, and it will help you as you attend the show and consider your investments. So we really hope to see you there.
Great. And for everyone listening, I will include all of that information in the description below as well. So thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Lisa, so much for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yep.
I will include a link to the keynote session page below, as well as a link to register for the expo if you haven't already. I want to give my thanks to Nathan, Lisa, and Andy for joining me on the show today. And of course, I want to thank all of you, our listeners. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Impressions Xchange podcast.